There's many reasons why people come to this great area here in Carrabassett Valley and the outskirting areas. It's because so much outdoor activity, so much fun to have, so many things for different people to do. We have John McCatherin here with us, and he is here to talk about one of his favorite passions, four-wheeling. How are you, John?
I'm well, thank you, and I thank you for letting me take my mask off this morning. This pole extension is quite unique.
Well, you know, it's Sugarloaf style, isn't it?
Absolutely. Make do with what you got.
Exactly. And John, I know you know a lot about that too, don't you?
Yeah, in terms of starting and trying to scramble along for the last 10 years, keeping an ATV club together is, yeah, that there's a parallel there.
Yeah. Well, you've done a good job at that. Let's talk about some of the new things that are happening, or just things that are happening here in the ATV club.
Sure, as people probably know, this has been somewhat of a truncated season, but we started off with a bang. We, for the last several years, have been working on a trail to connect over to Lexington, and from there you can get on up to Bingham and pretty much anywhere north from there. So we actually completed it a year ago last fall, just about now, but we didn't really open it until this spring. And we've had a lot of traffic over there. It's a beautiful trail, goes up over Poplar Mountain, comes down into Highland Plantation and then to Lexington. And from there you have the choice of going down to the Happy Horseshoe Campground, which is a great little stop on the way. Or back around to Kingfield. In fact, there is a loop that now will cover, I think, about 45 miles. You could leave here, go up over Poplar to Lexington, back to Kingfield, and then back up around through the Owl's Head area and complete your loop about 45 to 50 miles. It's a good day's ride, but it's nice to have that kind of a possibility.
Now, we've had some limitations, John, a little bit. Maybe you could speak a little bit about that. Okay, finish the good stuff, John.
Yeah, the other thing we did, you know, we go through the usual spring procedure of getting things up and running and clearing trails. You know, during a Maine winter, there's a lot of blowdowns that come down, and we spend quite a bit of time in the spring clearing the trails so they are passable. And the other accomplishment is that we moved into our new building, which we actually built about a year ago, but didn't get to use until this spring pretty much. And this has given us a base of operations. The town owns this piece of land behind us and made this available to us, so it gave us a home, if you will. We've had a nice relationship with the JV Wings Snowmobile Club, and we work jointly with them on trails and so forth over the years. But it's nice to have our own little place where we can store stuff and in fact, keep a vehicle. Then let me see, I guess it was either late August or early September, we received we began to see no trespassing signs in and around the village. And we took a cue from that, even though we had been operating on the assumption that we were okay to ride ATVs, and we shut the trails down. I can't recall the precise date, but probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, and that was to the chagrin of a lot of riders who really enjoy getting out there. You know, I'm a pretty good example. I've been hanging around this area. I first skied it the first year Sugarloaf was open, 1953. The first year they had a lift, rope tow, and been up here in one way or another ever since. Finally moved up here permanently about 25 years ago, and have done a lot of hiking and so forth. But when you get 80 years old and you have knee surgery and replacements and stuff like that, you don't. I climb all right. I just can't get down.
Right.
I'm still skiing. That doesn't bother the skiing. But you know, it's nice to be able to hop in an ATV and go out and ride the trails and get to some areas that normally you don't get to see. Beautiful country up here, and I've enjoyed it, as have a lot of other people. So it was a bit of a disappointment to have the trail shut down. We were attempting to have conversations with the Penobscot Indian Nation, which, as you know, owns about half of the land mass in Carrabassett Valley. But they were shut down because of the pandemic. So we did get messages into them indicating our concern about the closing and asking that they consider reopening. And I don't know what pursued from there, but I know the Land Committee would have been a week ago, 2 weeks ago today, authorized permission for us to reopen. So from there, we got in a scramble. You know, we hadn't been on the trails for a couple of months, and the Wednesday before they reopened the trails, we had that storm came through, and in the course of 3 days, we cleared 30 blowdowns and a total of 36 blockages or obstructions on the trails, so we could really get them open again. So that's continuing. We're attempting to continue or to reestablish a good line of communication with the Penobscot Nation. And there's a few issues that still are around, but we've been able to keep the trails open, and again, most appreciative to the Penobscots for what they've made available to us.